It's day 18 of designing a Pokopia Cloud Island in 30 days. Today we kick things off by building the thing we placed down in the last episode yesterday, the power plant. And I have a full crew here starting construction on it. I assume this will be done by the end of the video because we have Tinkaton working on this, which means it'll only take an hour real time. And usually these take a lot longer than that to record. Anyway, yesterday the main project we worked on was this bridge, which is mostly finished. We got a few parts floating above the air. We still got a dress. I'm still waiting on the right paint to kind of like get everything set up the way I want to. But we built the bridge and we connected two major areas together. I say two major areas because one of them is a major area. And right now that's over there. And then there's this area, which is nothing yet. But that's what we're working on today. Now, this area looks very similar to the Withered Wastelands, which looked a lot like this when you first started the game, but it is its own biome. We already have a biome that looks like the Withered Wastelands after it's not being, after it's done being withered. And this place still looks withered. So your choices are to, maybe like try to wet all the grass here or just kind of work with it as is. So I thought I'd challenge myself and work with it as is. I'm not a big desert person. I'm not really a big fan of building in desert environments in any game. But that's, again, it's all the more reason to challenge myself. So I'm just kind of walking around right now and getting a feel for the landmass itself. It's up on a little mountain here. We got, obviously, a view of the bridge from a lot of different vantage points. So that could be some prime real estate right there for maybe some housing or something like that. And then over here, we have a whole bunch of additional space that, again, I don't know how much of this I'm going to use, but there's a lot to account for. Basically, all of our building kind of takes place up at this mountain because just below it, off the cliff, is a beach full of crappy looking oil sitting next to the ocean. Someone ought to clean that up at some point. And I mean, there's, all of this stuff, it's really just like up here. So that kind of makes it easy because the landmass attached to this biome that was lower was that, and we've just plopped a power plant on top of it. And we're going to be putting another temple on top of the other part that's kind of sitting low. So our entire build is going to take place kind of, above ground. We're going to be up on this mountain, basically. And now that we've figured that out, it's time to decide how we're going to treat the train station in this area. I think the simplest maneuver is to keep it going straight through. We'll have it stop right around here, and that'll be the train station that kind of leads you to one side or the other. Maybe we'll design it to kind of be open on both sides. It'll be a little more simplistic, and you can visit either side of town. It'll be kind of like more of a centerpiece. And then the track itself will continue going this way until it gets to about here, where it'll go downhill. Perhaps we'll make another tunnel, or perhaps we'll keep it on the outside. I'm not really sure yet. It'll go down here and around this way. Now, if we do that, what's kind of cool about this is it'll pass right in front of the big temple we're going to be putting here for Moltres. So that's going to be a cool view, just something cool to drive by on the train. It'll continue going this way. And then we get to figure out our second to last biome, eventually, here in a couple days, this tropical biome. This one I'm pretty excited about. I'm not really sure what the architecture is going to be like yet, but the train track will definitely pass through here, and I do kind of like the idea of having it sit on this trajectory, not making it twist and turn too much, because you get this like really cool view of the ocean on this side and then potentially a whole town here on this side. And then just to give you a sneak peek, it's going to keep going this way until eventually it turns somewhere where it makes sense. And it's just going to go back through the city. The city is just over this little hill here, right? So it's going to go back to the city, which is in that direction, and we'll have a little train station probably close to the beach over there. I don't know exactly where it's going to be yet, but there'll be a train station over there, and the whole thing will connect into one big circuit. So those are the plans. We need to prepare a little bit because we have a lot of stuff to build, and I'm not going to build it all by hand. I think I'm going to do more projects like that one down there. We'll have some Pokemon nearby to help us, of course. And we're going to just get some prefabs kind of placed down. Now, there is, of course, a limit to how many prefabs you can actually put down. And I'm talking specifically about the ones that have a loading screen between entering and exiting the building. But there's prefab block buildings as well. And that's what I'm really interested in. Who's taller, me or Elect Kid? I'm going to say Elect Kid because, you're a bug. That's not why we're here, though. Now that we're level 8 environment, we can actually build some pretty cool stuff. So we have all of these little sand houses and things like that, which honestly, might not be too bad with the right colors of the roofs and everything else. These might fit this biome we're working in pretty well. Then we have these, but again, these are all the loading screen kind of prefabs. I'm interested in looking at some of the block builds we have. There's not a ton of these at the moment, but the aesthetic I haven't really considered too much yet would be the office kit and the gray hut. Like these buildings would kind of go together. They look similar. I don't know if they'd fit out there with the vibes we're looking for, but again, I don't even know what vibes I'm looking for. I don't even know what the purpose of this town is. Maybe I should brainstorm that for a minute too, because this is a city. This is for commerce and all that stuff. This is a city, pretty straightforward. And then the second town was like a lumber town, like a lumber yard, a real blue collar place where people do honest work and make really important things. And then there's a desert city or something. What is it? And after spending a few minutes on acquiring some inspiration, I think I've settled on a fitting theme, perhaps a couple actually. So one of the things I haven't been doing a very good job of is keeping track of my fossils. And this is not like necessarily a goal per se, but I would like to build some of these fossils and get the fossil Pokemon attached to them so that I can make really, or so I can have really big dinosaurs that are dropping stones all the time. And I have some progress here. So the ones that I have, I think, pretty good progress on would be the Despot fossils. So we have the fossil head, body, legs, but I'm missing, I assume, the tail. But anyway, my idea is, what if part of this was like a fossil dig site, right? So we could have, there's a couple areas, like one in the middle in particular that's kind of low, and we could have some like fossil dig site stuff in there. So that could be one part of the build, and that'll be pretty major, but I have some other ideas too that I'll bring up when it's relevant. Right now, I'm trying to find some recipes that I got a while back that I never actually used. It's these here, tent roofs. We actually can make full-blown tents, and I think for a fossil dig site that would be perfect. So with that, I don't think I'm actually going to buy anything from the Pokemon Center just yet. It does look like I'm going to be building some of the stuff by hand, and maybe that's okay. Maybe we can end up building all of it by hand, or we'll come back if we get some other inspiration that requires us to buy some prefab buildings. By the way, I've never actually seen these being built from above before, and I didn't realize that it just literally 3D prints the entire structure, like layer by layer like that. It looks really cool. All right, so when I imagine a fossil dig site, I actually imagine something like this here. Like it's already really low to the ground, and I was gonna have to terraform, but now I'm thinking, well, wait, well, no, we could lean into this, and maybe we could even dig it out a little further and hide a couple fossils in here and then put some tents around it. That could be pretty cool. I just need to remember to leave room for the train station, which is going to be built right here, kind of in the center of everything. So I might actually have to bring where I'm standing out a little bit more, which means I'll want to focus the dig site part maybe in here. So we'll have just like a little pit right there. I'm gonna change the grass and stuff out for more dry looking dirt. And then up top, we'll make a little more room for our tents. First, I'll focus on this pit. So I'm gonna trade all of this out for this nice barren soil. I think it works really well for a project like this. And right now I only have a few fossils that represent like an excess. So I have this head here, this Despot fossil head. And I guess I can maybe just put it in the ground like that. That's kind of interesting. It looks like the jaw is kind of buried. Well, we might need to kind of figure out how these are going to look. And then I also have the shield fossil body. I wish I could lie these down. And they have the tundra fossil head, which is pretty funny because it's just kind of like sticking up out of the ground. So all three of these together offer a little bit of variety, which I like, but they also don't have like, they don't make a lot of sense. They're standing and sitting in ways that don't feel natural. We'll try and figure that out though. Maybe it's a matter of adding some more dirt in there, some like just little bits that make it look like they're still partially buried. For now, I want to focus on some items that kind of make sense, and I do think that obviously excavation tools, we'll probably want a couple sets of these. That's gonna work. Some sandbags, that makes a lot of sense. A barrel of construction supplies, never a bad idea. And then of course, I wanna try making one of these tents. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into with this. I would assume I only need these sloped tent roofs, but I have all these other pieces too. So do I wanna make a tent that is just like two sides, kind of like together? Like when you think of tent, you just think of like a triangle? Or do I wanna make something with like 4 sides? Truth be told, I don't even know how big this stuff is, so let's just start by making the regular slope tent roofs, which we'll need no matter what, and we can expand from there. All right, so let's slap some of these tools here on the side. Let's put down this crate, or this barrel of tools rather, just up here. It's temporarily gonna be placed up here. That's where the workers are kind of like leaving some stuff. Some of these sandbags, stuff like this is perfect for a dig site kind of environment. We can also put like a couple of weathered crates just sitting right up here. And the train station is going to come in. It's going to be right here. We're going to be building around it. We need a path coming off of it. I think the path would probably go off to the side. So maybe down here and over and maybe across this way, perhaps. So kind of around the dig site. Where would our tents be? If the path goes that way, maybe there's room right here for a little tent. It's only temporary either way, just to see what this looks like. So let me just try this real quick. This is so interesting. These are, like, I'm not mad that these are in the game. Don't get me wrong. They're called tent slopes, so you assume you're supposed to be making little independent buildings like this. Can I even walk under this? I can, as Ditto, I can move under it. Okay. It's not very good, is it? I think I'm going to place it more up here. If I have room, actually, no, I probably don't have room to put it up there. Here, let's make sure we give ourselves some space. I'm going to put the first tents over there. And I do think I'm going to go for like a 4-sided tent rather than a 2-sided tent. I need to paint these, but this first one I'm thinking will be about that large. This seems like a good size for a tent. We already know it's going to be a little bit tough to walk into this, so we're just kind of treating this as like a purely decorative thing. And what's kind of cool about this is the corners are rather intuitive. They usually have this little black bit at the bottom, kind of symbolizing, okay, this is the part that's touching the ground. But if you don't use that, because you're putting the corners up higher, it kind of tucks in to the tent structure, which is kind of nice. Unfortunately, I do think I just made it too small still. There's no, like I could pop a flat piece on top and call it a day, but it just doesn't look right. Makes some really cool ramps though. I might have to make the tent this big, and that's just to make it look like a tent. At the end of the day, this is not even to serve any specific function. I'm just trying to make it look nice. And what that would allow me to do is kind of make it pointed at the top rather than using any flat pieces, which I think would look better. In my mind, that's what a tent is supposed to look like. So let's go ahead and just put down these corners. And then yeah, all 4 corners can meet on top like this. I gotta be honest, I just don't like it. I mean, I know it's not finished. I was just trying to see, you know, from a distance, like how it might look. And yeah, I don't like these tent pieces. They're very weird. There was an event recently that added like a tent recipe that was like a prefab, kind of like the power plant over there. But I don't think I have access to that here. Maybe if I get this place to level 10, I would. That might be better, you know, because it looks a little more like a tent. But yeah, these pieces here are just, they're not cutting it at all. I'm going to make a few more slopes. We're going to make one of these tents, and we're just going to kind of like take it as it comes, right? I am going to use some of the flat tent roof pieces as well. I'm going to go to Smeargle and have them dyed. And maybe I'll feel a little bit better if they're not bright yellow like the rest of the grass. All of these are fine options, honestly. I'm just trying to think of what makes the most sense, what seems the most like a dig site. And yellow's not bad. The darker yellow, like, because this is just no paint at all. If we make it yellow, we get this kind of like darker yellow, which I think looks a little bit nicer. Brown was like my obvious first choice. I figured, oh, brown tents, but those might also look a little bit too much like the rest of the land around us. These grays are, you know me, I love a good gray, but I'm not going to use that much white and black paint again. I've just got some of it back. So then there's this light blue one, but again, I got to use white paint for this. I actually think this green, this lighter green, might be pretty good. I think it would pop in that area, but in like a good way. I think it would still resemble like a professional looking operation, like a dig site operation. So let's commit to this and try to build a nice big tent. And that tent is going to go probably right here. Although this is kind of a good view, right? Do I want to block it with a big tent? I don't know. Okay, so we said the path was going to come like around. It might go over this area a little bit. Will I even have room to make it go over this area a little bit? I don't know. Oh no, I'm starting to second guess everything. Let's build up this area back here. My instinct was to put the tent about here. If it's gonna be a bit larger, I need more space. Let's build this up a little bit. Okay, and from here, let's see if we can get this thing looking like a respectable dig site tent. I don't know what that would be. Something larger than what we had before, basically. So those would be our corners, and then we would need an entrance to this thing. So I'll have to try and figure out how wide I want the door. Maybe about that would work. That'd be 3 tiles wide. So far, so good. I'm gonna need more tent slopes and corners. And I think I do like this a little bit better. I think maybe the trick with these tent objects is the larger the building or slash tent, the more tent-like it seems to appear. Power plant's almost done, by the way. I am worried I put it too close to all this. But then again, it's not a very big island. There's only so many places I could put it. And if I hate it, I can tear it down. Okay, so this is kind of what we're looking at here. It's not too bad. I guess I don't have any other option but to put down all of the flat pieces, because yeah, there's no way I can close it off if I use any more slopes or corners. So let's go ahead and grab the flat pieces now, put them over here like this. It's really not too bad. All we need to do now is kind of close off the top like that. And we have a tent that we can actually walk in. And you know, I kind of turn into regular Ditto if I go too close to the walls. But yeah, we could conceivably put a couple items in here, and it looks like a tent. It looks pretty okay. We'll need to put some stuff on the outside of it. It does look a bit strange at different angles. But I'm coming back down here to kind of like think about how I want the dig site to look. And I thought, let's just try to put some dirt down next to these fossils to see if it can look like it's still getting like dug out a little bit. And yeah, it kind of does. I think rotating this one would be a bit better, but we can kind of like put some dirt like that, maybe in this little like L shape like this. And then this one, if we push it back, actually, we could kind of cover it with this dirt like this. So it does look like part of a dinosaur is being like actively carved out of this dirt. I don't know, it's something. These aren't the best fossils for the job, I guess. Here, I actually have a better idea. Let's take this fossil, let's kind of pull it back. This feels like a situation where less is more. So I'm gonna put the dirt blocks back kind of like I had them. And just the couple heads sticking out like that already gets the point across, right? And you got some tools over here. It looks like they've been hard at work. And underneath all this dirt could be the rest of a dinosaur. This is still some pretty awesome finds, and it's worth setting up a whole outpost for, I would say. Oh, while we have Smeargle, I actually wanted to see what the different dye options were for this barrel. Yeah, we could go like brown. It looks all like it's rusted. I think anything might be better than the blue we had. You know me, I love good gray. We can make this gray too. Oh, I'm carrying too much. Oh my gosh, I have so much stuff on me. Since it's only a couple items, yeah, let's go with this gray. We could put this stuff outside like this, make it look a little more busy over here. We'll put our drum back here, and I just got the notification a second ago that the power plant is done. I'm gonna leave that for now because there's a good chance we're gonna take those Pokemon and have them start on another project before the end of today. So I'll know where all of them are if I just let them chill out in the desert for a bit. But overall, I think that's a good start. I need to get paths and stuff, but before I even do that, I should probably maybe focus on the train station. The train station is going to be a thing because we're changing the design a little bit. I wanted them all to match, and I do think this one will have like some of the same dimensions, but we'll need to make some adjustments if it's going to be open on both sides. So we want it to come out to about here, give or take, and that'll kind of line us up pretty well with the whole area, right? So you'll stop about here, and you got all that space over there for some buildings and stuff, and then the space over here leading you to the dig site. And so you'll step off the train platform, maybe down some steps, and a path will go around and over and up to the tent. Then over here, it's a lot easier because the space is a lot more open, and we can kind of do with that area as we please. So let's get the train track done, and then I got to figure out what blocks I want to build this thing out of. By the way, you know what I just realized would look really cool? We can take this workbench and kind of push it up against all of this. And the reason that's really cool is because it's kind of off-center. So now this area, instead of looking like just two items placed there, it looks a lot more cluttered. And yeah, you would expect a lot of clutter with a project like this. I'm thinking for the main block on our new train station, plaster. Plaster kind of looks a little bit like stucco, which is something you would see in this type of environment, I think. There's also rough wall. Both of these are good options. This one's made of concrete, which is a great option, actually. And it can be painted. They can both be painted in all sorts of different colors. If we go with one of these, we just need a good accent block to go along the sides or the corners or whatever. Maybe because of some of the prefabs I'm thinking of using, foundations might actually work really well here just for literally the foundation of the building. And yeah, I do think I'm going to go with perhaps... Gosh, I am really torn on the plaster or the rough wall. I'm thinking I'm going to go with plaster. I think I'm going to go with plaster. Will I regret this? I don't know. The more I say I think I'm going to go with plaster over and over again, the less likely I am to regret it, right? For the accents, let's bring back the stylish brick wall, but let's consider painting. I think the color scheme here is going to be brown and white. At a distance, I can kind of tell how big our old train station is. I can tell it's 4 blocks high plus a roof, and then 4 blocks deep. So I think with this one, we'll probably want to go maybe 4 blocks deep on either side, and that would create some more room for vending machines and seating and stuff like that. It might be too big. I don't know. This is going to be a larger kind of place, so maybe that's okay. Let's go ahead and just start working. I'm going to need a good amount of space for the actual like platform itself. So I'm just kind of like extending the land around it, which this was expected. I knew I was going to have to like make this area terraformed quite a bit to fit a train station of this size right here. The good news about this terraforming though is it's going to make the dig site, like with the fossils in it, feel even deeper, like it's buried even lower, which is good because I should have probably done that. I should have probably dug this down more. So this is going to be like, it's going to have a nice effect. The foundations would be arranged just like this, and this is all we need. We have openings on both sides. We got an opening for the train, so that all works. And I think it's, you know, it's respectful of the original design of the train station. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like as we kind of like build it up now. So I have these pillars that we can make. I hope these look good. I really am not sure about using these again after already kind of doing a similar building. But we'll put those there. For now, I think we'll just focus on one side of this in case we hate it. I don't want to overmake blocks that I'm not going to use. I guess it makes sense to kind of put them on the sides where the trains are coming and going. So we'll put them like here. I guess the tops would actually need to be like this, and then we got to put a roof on top of all this. So we can do that. And then we have our plaster. Now I'm probably going to want a window or something, but that's what the plaster looks like. It needs to be painted for sure. It's way too clean looking right now. I also don't think it looks right at the top. Unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to go with these across the top. And that looks better to me. I'll be honest, I don't see a way around using only these bricks for the whole build, right? How am I supposed to make the plaster work, especially when most of this is gonna be open air anyway? It's just kind of not needed here. I think I made a mistake. I don't need these 80 plaster blocks. Like, I'm literally just gonna put windows here, and then for this, I'm probably just gonna like go like this, put a couple of things here. I mean, and then it's just the roof. I don't see why I would do anything else. Yeah, I think that is our final design, minus the roof. Had to fix the corner here, but we're gonna replicate all of this over here now, and at least we know what we're doing. It might not be the most original, but hey, listen. If you have a style that you like in these types of games, and you have anxiety like I do about overusing it, just know that your style is going to be different than somebody else's style, which means even if you build the same type of building across your entire map over and over again, your entire map is probably going to look a lot different from someone else's. This is what I'm going to tell myself to justify these decisions, okay? At first I was like, I got to challenge myself to do something different. And now I'm like, but I don't want to. So I'm justifying it now, and you're just going to have to deal with it. I think this looks kind of neat. Yeah, this is cool. I like this. Let's work on the roof now. And I'm running very low materials, so in order to not have to make more bricks and things like that, I'm just going to focus on what I do have, which I do have a little bit of lumber, so I can use this to kind of like cap off the roof. And we can put our roof pieces on top of this lumber like we've been doing. For the roof itself, I'm out of stone. Great. I'm going to be using the sloped stone roof because I think this environment calls for it. And it's cool because we can paint it. I may also paint this brown. We're just going to make like 40, and that'll get us started. I got to get more stone, obviously. I think brown or white, which kind of looks gray, are our only options. I'm gonna go brown because that's been the accent color I've been using. And we'll go around and add our roof pieces. Or we'll add what we can of our roof pieces. I've run out, great. Totally predictable outcome there. Let's see what this looks like though. At least from a distance, I can just get a sampling down of this roof by just doing this. Oh, wow, I made 40 and that was actually enough. Okay, we might actually be able to do the corners and stuff, but yep. That's what I thought it would look like. I like it. It looks good. We can add our corners too, so this at least appears finished, but this was literally the last 2 rocks I had to my name. And all that's left to figure out is what I want as a train platform. I think I'm gonna go with light marble flooring. This is a pretty nice flooring, and I think it makes sense. So we'll put these all throughout here, and I'll even go underneath my foundations too. And yeah, I'd say this is looking pretty good. I'll go ahead and finish the underside of the roof here. and that was most of the lumber I had left. And now I just need stone to kind of cover this up. But yeah. Oh, windows. We're going with our nice wooden panes that fill up the whole section where we want glass. And I made my lights too. So we'll throw down the green on the bottom, the red on the top. And lastly, we'll just need to throw in some power. And while we're at it, some lights as well. Fantastic. This looks good. Almost finished even. And honestly, this was way more progress than it looks like. So I'm going to be doing some more gathering off camera like I keep promising to do and not doing a very good job of. And then tomorrow we'll probably unveil the power plant. We'll get more of our new town built and it should be pretty good. So join us then. That video's on screen now if it's ready. I'll see you over there.